Just F It. Hi, I'm Romi, an identity coach helping others who struggle with their sexual identity and families of queer youth find their path of understanding and acceptance.
And I'm Carla, a mom empowerment coach empowering moms to own their new identities and motherhood journeys.
And together we are the EFF IT Madres. We are here to invite you guys into stories of some inspiring madres
who have changed their lives through an EFF IT moment. So here we go. Just F It.
We're always like, we're always like, let's wait.
I know, we're both smiling at each other. If you guys we're like, hey, happy Monday, guys. We are the EFF IT Madres. I'm Romi. That's Carla. Carla, who are we? What do we do? What do they get on this Monday by listening to us?
Well, you get a little bit of us, of course. We're two best friends. We're two moms to two little girls.
Two Latinas.
And we said EFF IT over a year ago, and it's really just put us on this like EFF IT journey of just, self-reflection, discovery, trying new things. EFF IT moments really open up like a whole new perspective and opportunities. And so basically it's moms supporting moms through these big EFF IT moments, whether they've gone through them or in the midst of them or want to have them. They're important because they change the trajectory of your life and that of your families. And so it creates a new version of you, which I think is really,
absolutely. Yeah. It's created a new version of us. We know that firsthand through this. We've seen a new version of ourselves over this last, EFF IT moment, the one that we're in. And yeah, I think we are, just for everyone tuning into, it's a new year. We are really diving into even deeper kind of questions and kind of understanding the EFF IT moment more than I think we did at the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
it's
right?
Yeah, it's definitely led me, and I'm sure for you too, but like down several different avenues of just things that I wouldn't have really thought of doing or thought I could do. And so it's really fun and scary and all the things. And so we hope that this inspires other moms out there who are like, on the verge of having one, or maybe in the midst of it. Just know that like, hey, it's going to be a journey. And it's not always going to be easy, but like you can get to that other side. We are getting there. Like every day we are getting there.
And you have a community of moms and other women that are also trying to do the same thing. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Today we have my aunt. This is a woman who helped be a part of my childhood. Really a part of like massive chapters of my childhood. And I remember watching her go back to college once my cousins were older and she was older. And I was always really inspired by her just EFF IT, like, I'm doing this. So I had reached out and asked her if she would be open to sharing what that experience was like. We haven't had a story like that on here, and I'm really excited to really ask her these questions, to have this moment to be able to ask her these kind of questions that I didn't ask them because I was young and dumb and wasn't fully aware of the power that she was doing,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we have my Aunt Mary coming on.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to bring her in just a second.
Okay, everybody, we are here with Aunt Mary, my Aunt Mary, the one, the only, my Aunt Mary. We're going to jump right into our new questions. We're excited to ask these questions, and I'm excited to actually hear this story on a deeper level. So, Carla, let's do this.
All right, Mary. So what shifted your mindset to say EFF IT once you became a mom, or this period in your life after becoming a mom?
I think I've been thinking about that some today. I had always wanted to go to school, and I grew up with a really crazy family, lots of trauma, lots of different things going on. And when I was younger, when I was actually kicked out of my house in the middle of high school, or my senior year. So living with another family, I tried going back to school, and I kept dropping every class. I'd go and life was happening and it all felt overwhelming and I didn't know what I was doing and all of that. And so, but I'd always wanted to go to school. And years later, I was in my 40s. All of a sudden, I had the opportunity to go to school. And so I decided to do it. When I first started back at school, I was actually on academic probation. Because
Really?
they
From your past?
yes, because I had dropped everything. I hadn't failed anything, but I dropped everything. So they had put me on. So when I went back, I went to Orange Coast College first to get my AA.
I did too.
Carla did too.
Yeah, I did. Hey.
And so when I went back, I found out I was on academic probation. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I first tried that, I think in my 30s at one point, right when I went through my divorce. And anyways, I started taking classes and I remember being in the bathroom there crying, feeling like I can't do this. You know, like, what am I doing? I'm not smart enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. And anyways, I started just, I don't know, really applying myself and I started getting all A's. And I remember being surprised, like, I didn't know I could do that. So when I graduated, I had graduated on the dean's list from there. And I went to Cal Poly Pomona. And it was, I just remember at times feeling very overwhelmed, like I couldn't do this and finding out that I could do it. And so I go off to Cal Poly Pomona and I ended up graduating with honors and, did so much better than I ever thought I would, which I was really excited about. And what was weird, I'm in my 40s and I end up getting student of the year in the department I was in. Now, how I got that, I have no idea. I don't know what the process is. They had just told me I was getting this, and I went to this dinner. Tracy was with me, her cousin.
My cousin.
Yeah. And so anyways, that was,
I have to say, Aunt Mary, and I think Carla sees this in me as well. There's something about, and I love that you said your 40s. I wasn't sure if it was your 40s when that happened, but there's something about our 40s, which is what Carla and I are in. These F it moments happen when you hit your 40s and you are just, it's like a fearless new you that is like, fuck it, I can do this, right?
Yeah, I think you're right because that started to happen for me and it was in my 40s, a little bit late 30s, but 40s for sure. And it's like, yeah, F it, I can do this. Or even you push through that fear of you can't do things.
Well, you also a lot of that fear is wrapped up in what other people think. I think in a good chunk of your life before your 40s, and so I think at least for me, and I'm sure for you, Romi, and for you get to a point where you're just like,
you don't care.
Who fucking cares?
Yes.
I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna
try and do me. I'm gonna try and figure out who I am.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like a beautiful. I was thinking about it because I'm going to be 42 next week, and I'm like, it's almost like your 20s, but in a really, really beautiful way. Like you become this like person in your 20s, right? That everyone's getting you ready for, and like, God forbid, you're just still a child, but like, you hit your 40s, and that's when I feel that like, oh, this is where my life is starting. Like, my life is starting.
You start to understand yourself more. And so it does change your perspective on so many things, and hopefully you do become more fearless, and not as concerned about what other people think, because that is such a driving force, especially when you're younger.
So this would bring me to Aunt Mary with this new perspective that's opened you up to these new things that you had never done before at this time. Like, what perspective did you get coming out of this, moving through this?
I had a lot more confidence. I think I was I was insecure and always kind of felt less than, just partly because of my past, and I didn't realize how trauma affects everything. And so I think there was a lot of insecurity there, and coming out of this and seeing what I could do it made me a lot more confident. And just continued, because then I kept pushing myself with the job I got, with this, with that, and so it really changed a lot for me. It it changed my confidence level quite a bit, which really impacts your life as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes you say yes to so many more things that you wouldn't have said yes to. It does. It really creates this like, I can do anything. If I can
Yeah,
do this, I can
yeah,
do
it
that.
changes the trajectory.
Trajectory. I stumbled on that word right now too.
Yeah, she stumbled on that too.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
I'm curious to know what positive and or negative things did you learn about yourself once you were on this journey? Because I know for Romy and I, we've discovered elements of ourselves that were like good and bad. So
Yes.
curious to know if that happened for you.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, felt more capable, more confident, uh, more able to do things. I've learned along the way, but I know I keep going back to it, but I just am so much more aware of it now, that there was because of the trauma in my life. I think I reacted to things more emotionally or quicker in a way that I didn't like. And as my confidence built and as things shifted, my need to react the way I did, that I would, things that would trigger me, I was able to start managing better and in a different way, and in ways that, not behave in ways that I didn't want to anymore. So, I kind of, just kept learning more about myself, through this process. I mean, I'm 67 now, so I'm still been, I graduated at 45 from college with my little degree, and
Yes.
yep.
I mean, I have to say, Aunt Mary, like, okay, I remember you going though and getting your backpack and like going to school. I remember the vision of you with your backpack going to school. And it was like the community college just to get started, right? Just getting
Yeah.
yourself back there.
Yep.
And thinking, even for me now, and like us starting coaching school, and remember, Carla remembers the same thing. And Aunt Mary, my life. Carla knows my life. I was like, I don't know if I'm smart enough to do this. Am I going to
Right.
be able to finish this? And it is trauma. I appreciate you saying that it's childhood things, and we have to stop letting that hold us
Yeah. Drive
hostage
us.
for our
Yeah.
lives, right? Because
Mhm.
we are capable of doing those things. And just because we didn't do them when we were younger, due to
Right.
circumstances, due to our life, due to our family, doesn't mean that we can't
And
ever
do
do
them.
that.
Right.
So you
Right.
putting your backpack on and walking into a school with a bunch of 19-year-olds,
I
like,
did.
yeah, that's good. That's empowering.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I was in with everybody was 19 in their 20s, and I had this one friend, this guy. He was this big Armenian guy. It was so cool, Brad. And he used to walk me to my classes. He always looked out for me. It's like I made these friends, and everybody was young. I was the oldest person in the class, but it was really fun. I mean, it was a really great experience. I'm really happy that I had the opportunity to do it, that I did it.
Your children were what? How old were they? I'm assuming they were already grown. How many children?
In high school, when I started, and my son was older, so he's a couple of years older, so he was out of high school. So my kids were a little older, which is easier. Um, it's like, Tracy's gone back to school now, her cousin, and she's got 4 young ones at home. Or Lily's a little older, but I'm watching what she's doing, and she's in her 40s. And I kind of just thought about it today about, oh, wow,
Yeah.
this is kind of weird. um,
And also amazing that she sees that, Aunt Mary, and she knows it's something she can do. Like, you left that kind of thing that in your 40s you can do that, and your daughter sees that, and now she's able to do that. And I love you saying, like, you graduated at 45. Like, we need to hear more stories of women being like, I went back, I graduated in my 40s or in my 50s
yeah.
or in my 60s, you know?
Yeah, yeah, at any age, because there's people that do it at all sorts of ages. It doesn't matter. And, a shout out, particularly to people that have younger kids. I mean, that's a real challenge. That is hard.
Carla's face.
I can't even get to the grocery store with my daughter.
That
Like, I can't
was a
even
good
imagine.
look, Carla.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine going to school and having like a little, like the way that your mom, Romi, like took you to class and all that.
Yeah.
No way. I was going to say, before you jump into Romi, to the other question, that what I'm coming to realize about these EFF IT moments is like, it allows us to rewrite our stories.
Yeah.
That's what is so great.
Really good
about
point.
these. Yeah, because like you guys said, I'm not smart enough, or I'm not this. And then you finally decide, fuck it, I'm going to do this. And you realize, oh my gosh, like I'm not that person anymore. I'm not, you completely are able to rewrite and become a new person. So it's really nice and beautiful that.
I think that's a really, really good point, because it does give you the opportunity to rewrite your story and not stay stuck in these beliefs that aren't accurate. And that's critical. I mean, really important.
It's so critical. And both of you saying that, and Carla, thank you, because recently, like on a Joe Dispenza, who I love, right? Like he did this whole meditation on, you're not your story. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. You're holding this story around like it's like you're on the cross with your life story, and we're not our stories. And when we truly do let it go and get allow the present to rewrite it, and allow ourselves to like rebirth into it and not be held hostage by it, that's when we get to do these big, scary things.
Yeah. And it is about us writing our own story. I'm going to say it wrong, but Brene Brown I love, and she has a quote about the bravest thing you'll ever do is to tell your own story, but not the ones that we've been given that we think are ours, and they're not. And it's about us figuring out and being fearless and finding out who we are and telling our own story in our way, not what was put on us.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes. And I know for our family, and I know for the women in our family, because we know this, a lot of us are doing that. A lot of us have had to. There's been a lot of trauma, and it's been a beautiful thing that I will give the women in our family, is we're all trying to rewrite that for ourselves, and that's something I'm really proud of. There's a lot of things that were wild, but that's something I'm very proud of.
Yeah. I mean, we've all got our stories.
Yeah. So the next question then would be, Aunt Mary, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, which we talk about all the time on here, right? This imposter syndrome that we all live with, like when we're venturing into new things. Am I able to do this? Is this the right thing for me? Am I pretending to be something that I'm not, right? Am I pretending to be smart and being capable of school? Are Carla and I pretending to be podcasters, right? Like this whole idea that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
Did you experience any of this? And if so, how did you fight against those thoughts?
Absolutely experienced it. And I think it's one of the biggest things we fight against. First, I want to tell you guys, you're both doing an amazing job. Been watching your podcast, really impressed with what you're doing. And look at what you guys are doing. You've got young children, you're putting something together, and you're giving a format. And I love that it's it's fuck it, it's who does that? But that's great. It's my favorite word.
Ours too.
So love what you're doing,
Thank you.
and think it's important. But yes, definitely struggled with imposter syndrome, and I would just have to push through it. Like you. And the sad part is, women do that a lot more than men. I think we're brought up with this thing that we're always, not good enough. And the reality is we are, and we are capable. We're really capable. Women are strong. They're powerful. They're fearless. I mean, we are amazing.
I'm just going to put it out there. We're like beyond capable, more capable to do a lot of things.
Yeah, we do. I mean, and so, I definitely struggled with it and just kind of kept having to push through it. Again, for me, the kind of trigger thing was going to school. But even after I got this job, and then they give me another position and be, I don't know what I'm doing. I have to fake this. And over time, I found out I didn't know how to do it. And when I figured out what I was really good at, and part of it getting over is what you're not good at and what you are good at. I mean, you need to know equally the things you're not, that aren't your lane, and what is, so you can kind of, excel in that area. But yeah, definitely struggle with it. And just again, it's so sad how much women struggle with that. But we can do it.
We can.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching this documentary in regards to just like when little girls and little boys up until the age of 5, they both have the same ambitions. But the moment from 5 and on, the boys' ambitions are still as strong and high, and the girls start to trail it back because there's not a lot in cartoons. There's not a lot out there for kids to see where like the
The
girl or
women
the
are
woman
powerful.
is the main character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Gina Davis created like this whole research lab to like change
I
that
love
because she's
her.
a badass. Yeah. I was like,
Talk about one smart lady.
yeah, one smart lady. So yeah, we have to like for us women that have daughters, and even when you have sons, to have sons that empower, to have feminist sons, to empower
Yes, yeah,
women to be able to have a seat, believe they have a seat at the table. It's really important.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm curious to know, how would you describe yourself now versus the person you were before you had that FM moment?
Besides being a pain in the ass, that hasn't changed a lot. Probably a little bit more badass
Yeah.
than I was. And there's always kind of a little bit of an edge, or comes with our family. But yeah, just more. I think more of that, just stronger in a lot of ways. More believe in myself a lot more. Trust myself. Learning to trust myself more than I have.
Yeah, I mean, I've always seen you, as my aunt, as this very strong, independent, like can do anything on your own kind of woman. If we needed something built at the house, like we'd call Aunt Mary, not an uncle. We'd be like, Aunt Mary's coming over, she can build it. Aunt Mary knows how to do this. Like she's just so self-sufficient. It was such a beautiful thing to see growing up, this woman just be like, fuck it, I'm going to school, and fuck it, I don't need a partner sometimes, and fuck it, I'm gonna go travel by myself. And you just have always kept that. You're a good example of that effort momentum that just kept happening. And I was able to watch this, and watch you to this day be someone that you just have this power of just sitting in your own.
Yeah, I've gotten very comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable with myself. I like my own company.
Yeah.
It's such an important thing to get to, like and it's sad that our first half of our lives we worry so much about what other people are thinking of us, to come to realize that nobody is wasting their time thinking about anybody other than themselves.
We're all focused on that.
We're all focused on ourselves. Like, when I had that realization myself, I was like, what the fuck did I waste all that time worrying about? Nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Oh my God.
That is so funny. And that is so true. And we all are, because we all can get really focused on ourselves, mostly, especially younger. And you're so right. We waste so much time.
So much time.
Focusing in the wrong places.
Yeah. Yeah.
We really do. And life is so short. And so that's why we did create this space, because we do want women and moms. We're moms. We're in our 40s. We want anyone listening who is a mom or a woman who's like, like your life isn't over. Live it at any day, restart it at any day, like if
any day.
Yeah. And just because you're now a mom, like doesn't mean all your dreams and your identity are gone. Like there is still space for both to, coexist. You can still be healing and you can still be moving forward. You can still be a mom and you can still be selfish. It's okay.
It's a part of who you are, but it's a part. It's not all we're not one dimensional. There's many parts to us, and we're complicated, and there's all these layers and levels, and we're many things. And it would be boring to just be one thing.
100%.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but for anyone listening, you just have to remember that you just have to give yourself grace because you
Yeah.
are a mom. Like
Yes.
you do have those obligations, and so trying to like build this thing isn't going to happen how it would have happened when you were a single, single
Yeah.
woman, so just like a little bit at a time, one step at a time. It might take
Yeah.
longer than you'd like.
Yeah. And I think, Carla, I like what you said too about giving yourself grace. I mean, two of my favorite words are fuck it and grace.
Yeah.
Because we have to, I mean, that's one of the things that's so important and so hard for us all to do is give ourselves grace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grace, because we all fuck up. We all
Yeah.
just end up doing things. It's like we have to have it for ourselves and we have to give it to each other. We have to have more
Yes.
grace.
Yes.
I think in the world and for each other.
Yeah.
Well, this would lead me
Absolutely.
then to the final question, Aunt Mary, and that is, your kids are older. You are a mom. This is a space by moms for moms. So let's just get into that lesson too. What lessons do you want to leave behind for your kids?
Um, I hope that they can take from me some of my strengths, some of my fearlessness. Hopefully, and again as I'm getting older, is some of the grace I'm developing and learning to embrace more. And for them, it's you always wish this could happen sooner for your kids, but for them to continue to find their own voice in their own way, and have the strength to do that and be true to themselves, as true as they can be, as soon as they can be that.
Yeah.
In their journeys. I mean, like you said, life is short, and all we have, all we have in the end is who we are, our integrity or whatever our beliefs. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And I
and
mean, you even saying, with Tracy and watching her as a mother and watching her go back to school. And this is, we're talking about women, we're talking about moms, and you get to see that in her, that's like
yeah,
beautiful to be able to see. I'm sure her as an adult,
yeah,
raise her
she's
daughters
amazing.
that
Yeah,
way.
she
Yeah.
is fearless. She's amazing. I have enormous respect for her, and enormous love and respect for her. She inspires me at times.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she's been more fearless sooner than I ever was.
But that's good though. She's learning. She's learning
Yeah.
that from you earlier on.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's obviously seen it from someone,
Yeah.
and it's probably you.
But that's a thing. Like Romy and I have talked about this. But you grow up with trauma, whatever, and you hope that your job as being a parent, or at least my hope always was that I was going to do better than what I experienced, and that my daughter does a better job than me, and she does.
Yeah.
And nothing makes me happier to watch that generational
Yeah.
change taking place, and that it's not the same, that there's a huge difference between when I was a kid and her kids that are, her children. Which is what you hope for.
That's what we talk about all the time on here. Carla and I and all of us, you know, just to kind of wrap it up with that, like so many of us are in therapy, right? So many of us are healing from our childhoods, and we're going to do our best that our kids don't have to heal quite as much, right? They're going to go through
Yeah,
something. We're
yeah,
not going to get it right. But the goal is to keep getting
yeah,
better, to keep
yeah.
getting
You want to
better for
improve.
each
You want,
generation. Yeah, to keep
yes,
getting better. And there's grace on ourselves, right? And we're all okay. And we've all had traumatic, things that we're healing from, but making it more normal, and for us to want to like talk about these things with our kids, because I feel like so much
yeah.
of our childhood wasn't, no one talked about this stuff, nobody
No,
acknowledged
nobody
this stuff.
talked to us.
So
Yeah,
we're
no,
all figuring it out in our 40s, where we hope and pray that the next generation is already so aware
yeah,
of the tools and what's out there, that in their 20s or 30s this isn't new to them. Their minds
yeah,
aren't being blown that they're smart at 40 like all of us,
yeah. Like,
like,
oh my god.
yeah, like that they're just getting that message so much earlier. And then whatever they are going to take from us that we did wrong, that they give it a little bit better. But that's a
Yeah, it
beautiful
just,
gift to see your grandkids having a life that is so different from the one you had.
yeah, and they're smart, and the confidence that they have at a younger age, and how they feel at a younger, the things that they're learning. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I
So
think there's hope in the world. I think there's
yeah,
hope in the world because of the fact that the way that we were raised was not amazing, but we're healing from it and learning from it and passing those tools along to our children at an earlier age. That I only think that it's going to benefit the world because they're going to be so much more emotionally intelligent
yeah,
and be able to and be better communicators,
yeah,
which
and
we
better prepared. Yeah,
yeah, but much better prepared. So I have hope
yeah.
that things will get better. I do. So
I do too, and I think we want to hang on to it. There's a lot of awful, bad things happening in the world, and it's hanging on to those positive things and doing things. Create the forum that you guys are creating for women. To have a voice, to talk about issues that people don't talk about. Um, to say fuck it, there's these different points in our lives all through them, and it's like I've had many fuck it moments, and
Yeah. Yeah.
continue to. I expect a few more before I'm done.
Yeah, of course,
oh
right?
yeah.
And that's what we always say. We say, once you say fuck it, the fuck it momentum, that's what we talk about. That fuck it momentum kicks in and you're just rolling with it. And I
Yeah,
can't imagine any woman at the end of like their lifespan saying, I never had a fuck it moment. But what's happened is no one's been able to like hear it, right? We live with
yeah,
them in silence. We move through them in silence, and they need to be loud, and we need to hear them because we're
yeah,
all feeling them.
yeah, and
Mhm.
it's okay to say.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
So
Aunt Mary, I cannot thank you enough for joining
I
us
can't
and doing
thank you
this
guys
and
Thank
enough.
sharing your
you.
story. I am so honored that you are one of the women in my life, that you are, my aunt, and I'm just so proud of just all of us. But thank you for coming on.
I
Is
only
there
did it because I love you. Because you know me, I'd rather stay in the background.
Yeah.
But I did it because I adore you. I love you, and
I love
I
you.
don't know. I wouldn't say no to you.
I got it. Is there anything that you would like to shout out, promote, anything that helps women through college or that you can think of? And if you can't think of it right now, you can always let us know after, but we'd love to share something for anybody who is trying to go back to school. Any
You
advice?
know, and I hadn't thought of that, but there's a lot of resources at school. So people feel like I can't do it, or I can't afford it, or I can't childcare, I can't this, I can't that. Show up at a school, talk to a counselor, find out what resources. There's lots and lots of resources through schools. So and find any more. My guess is there's a lot of support groups too for people doing it. There's so much online anymore. When I was going, that wasn't there, but my guess is that there's almost a support for anything, and if not,
Yeah.
start one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But don't give up. If you're passionate and that's something you really want to do, don't let anything stop you. There is a way to do it. And one of the biggest things that just real quick, I remember feeling overwhelmed with it, like, oh, that's so much time, it's whatever. And then I started breaking it down. I just have to do this one right now. I just have to do today. I just have to do this semester. I just have to, I broke it into smaller pieces so it could become manageable, because otherwise you feel overwhelmed. And I thought every day is going to pass anyways. I may as well be in school if that's what I really want
Yeah.
to do. Whatever it is you really want to do, I may as well do it because today's going to pass, I may as well.
Yes.
What
So
did you
yeah,
end up getting your degree in, Mary?
Yeah.
in management and human resources.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would come visit her in Long Beach because you were helping so many people at that position,
Yeah, I
right? Like
worked
you
in
were,
homeless services for
yeah,
16
homeless
years with
services.
people with severe and persistent mental illness. And I ended up going from HR to running programs. I was chief operations officer for a while. I ended up doing all these different things. I'm back in HR now. I went to massage school for a while after that, became a massage therapist.
Wow.
And, I had a cafe at one point. So I kind of,
Yep.
well, who knows what's next?
That's great though. You've tried so many things.
Yeah.
I have. When I think about it now, at the time you don't realize it, but I look back and it's like I've done these different things, and who knew?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's like what you guys are doing is cool. And it'll be a jumping off point for something else. You know, I mean, that's
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of,
And
Yep.
we feel that as we're in this as well, in our own personal journeys and our journey together in our podcast. And we're definitely, we felt a lot of change. So this has been a
yeah,
great interview for the beginning of this new year to be like really in this space, because it's such a reminder to us, I think,
yeah, yeah.
in our space.
You guys are doing it. You're practicing what you're creating a format for, and
Yeah.
you're doing it. So good on you guys. You're gonna have a
Thank
great
Well,
you.
I love you. And
Thank
this
you.
is where we all say,
just
just
F
F
it.
it.